Alright, so for this project you're gonna need some yarns. I'm using the Lanalon Yarn, which I bought at Hanger Market in Baguio City, and this is a fingering weight kind of yarn, and I'll be using a 2.3mm crochet hook or the number 3 hook. And then of course you're gonna need some yarn needle to weave in the ends, and of course some pair of scissors to cut off the yarn once you finish. So now let's start with the project. Alright, so the flower border that we're gonna make is in multiples of 5. So when you work stitches in rounds, you usually remove the extra chains that you need when you're working in a row. So for this, I'll just make a slip knot first, and then I'm going to chain 40, which is in multiples of 5. So 1, 2, 3. So once you have 40 chains in total, or any number that is in multiples of 5 will do. This will make the size of the item you're making it for. So say you want to make a phone pouch, so all you need to do is keep on chaining in multiples of 5, and you should be able to wrap it around the size of the phone. So as you can see, make sure it's not too loose or not too tight. But of course, when you do the foundation chain, you can always adjust the size. Just make sure it's in multiples of 5 to make the flower pattern later. So after that, after slip stitching to form a ring, make sure it's not twisted, because otherwise you will have to repeat. So once you slip stitched, and this will count as the first stitch that we're gonna make for this round. So 1, 2, 3, you're gonna chain 3, and then into the next stitch we work 1 double crochet. So we're gonna be working 1 double crochet into every stitch around. Make sure that you will have a total number of 40 stitches or 40 double crochets, including the chain 3 there, which will count as 1 double crochet. Alright, so now I'm into my very last stitch, and then make sure that you have 40 double crochets in total, and then you're gonna work a slip stitch on top of the third beginning chain. So that is 1, 2, 3, and this is the top of the chain 3, so that is where we slip stitch. So this is what it's going to look like. Yes, it's open, the bottom part is still open. We're going to close it off later on after we work a few more rows. So in the next row we're going to chain 3. This is going to be the repeating pattern. So into the next stitch we're going to work 1 double crochet. So from here on we will just simply repeat this round, 1 double crochet into each stitch, and chain 3 there will count as our first stitch. So that is a very simple, this is a very simple project, because we will only get to work double crochets or 1 double crochet into every stitch around. So this is what it's going to look like after working or repeating row 2. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 rows, and you can check whether the height is enough. And since I'm going to make the flower border around here, and I'm gonna make this pouch where the phone is a bit exposed. After repeating round 2, every time you close the round, you're going to work a slip stitch on top of the 3rd beginning chain. So that's how you close off every round. Now, if you're going to check, this is the trace of where we start and end the round. So it's best if we're going to fold it this way so that the traces of join will be on this side and it will be invisible in the eye when you take a look on the front or on the back. So you can choose which one you want, either back or front, it's just the same. So that's what you can do so that you will not see those traces. Now the next step is we're going to start the flower border. So you can either use the same color for the flower, or if you want, you can use a different color of yarn. So in this case, I'm going to just chain 1 and cut off the yarn because I want to use a different color for my flower border. So that's what you do to secure the end. You chain 1 after you slip stitch. Alright, so I'm going to make a slip knot first. So make sure you're still using the same size of yarn or crochet hook. And then I'm going to be working on this side. So it's your choice. You can either work on the other side or on this side. And then after that, we're going to make a slip stitch and we're going to chain 3, which will be the first double crochet that we're going to make to start the round. So this counts as our first double crochet, and then we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So we have 4 individual double crochets, and then in the next stitch, that is where we're going to work an increase or 2 double crochets. So whenever we make a flower, we will have 2 double crochets, and this one will make the ring for our flower. So the next step is we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to work 2 double crochets, and then we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch into that double crochet. So we make the first petal. We're going to just repeat that, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then chain 2, slip stitch into the double crochet. So we now have 2 petals. We'll make 3 more, so this will get us to the other side of the 2 double crochets that we have. So we're going to repeat by chaining 2 into the next double crochet. We're going to work 2 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 and work a slip stitch. So we now have 3. We're going to chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then slip stitch into that second double crochet. So now we have 4 petals in total. We're actually going to work 1 more, so we're going to chain 2, and then into that space we're going to work 2 double crochets, and then chain 2 and then slip stitch. So we made a flower. Now the next step is we're going to work a double crochet into the very next stitch, so make sure you don't skip a stitch there. So the very next stitch we're going to work a double crochet, and make sure you have one double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So the repeating pattern is that you should have 4 individual stitches, and then that's when you start working the next flower by working 2 double crochets into the 5th stitch around. That's why we have multiples of 5 to make the flower pattern. That way it's equal, so by the time that you get back around, you'll have a sequence of 1 flower and then 4 individual stitches in between. So we're just going to repeat that by working 2 double crochets and chain 2, and then you're gonna work a slip stitch. So just keep repeating that until you get back around. So once you get to the very last stitch, so that is where you should make your last flower. Alright, so this is what it looks like after you've worked 1 single crochet into both stitches to make the bottom part, and make sure that the flowers line up so that when you flip it, so we're gonna check first to see how the stitches are to make sure it's looking good. So this is what it's gonna look like if you work single crochets in a row, and then going to look like this. Make sure that the join is on this side so it will look invisible and you won't see the traces of join, which is on this other side here. Once that's okay, we can now flip it and cut off the yarn and then weave in the ends. Alright, so this is what it looks like after we have finished weaving in the ends and then flipping it on the right side. So we have made 8 flowers if you're gonna make 40 chains, and I really made it this way, exposing a little bit of the phone in there, and I plan to add a strap on this 2 sides here. Alright, so the next step would be we're gonna make the strap, and so we're gonna need a strand of yarn. This is still a figuring weight kind, so after making a slip knot, I'm going to just chain 2, 1 and 2. On the second chain from hook, I'm going to work just chain 1 and then go through 2 loops. Now when you turn it, you're gonna see this loop over here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go through that once and then you go through 2 loops, and then you're gonna turn, and now you see 2 loops there. So you're gonna go through that and go through 1 and then yarn over and pull through 2, and then turn, and you're gonna see there 2 loops, and then you go under those 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So you're gonna keep doing that until you get the length that you would like. So this is called a Romanian cord. This is really great for making straps, wrist straps, because it doesn't stretch that much. And then you keep on turning and working under those 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So this is what it's looking like, and as you can see, it doesn't stretch that much. So if you're gonna keep working that, you're gonna end up having this strap. And what I did is I sewed using the yarn needle. I sewed it along this row, along this side, to attach. Now you have 2 options. You can either add a D-ring, or you can just sew it to attach the strap. So in here I attached a long strap, and as you can see, it's sturdier compared to when you're just chaining and working single crochets in a row. So that's what you can do. And also, one thing about this kind of strap is that it doesn't curl. It's more flowy than when you're doing the regular single crochets. And then once you have that attached, you can add a loop and a button in here if you would like it to be secure, but I'm skipping that because I think it looks prettier this way. You can use different colors if you would like to highlight the flower. You can turn this one into a horizontal bone pouch, wherein it's gonna be crosswise, not vertical, and then add the flower. Make sure that it's in multiples of 5. So as you can see, I made 4 chains, so I have 8 flowers around. This is what it looks like when you add the phone. My phone size is 6 by 3 inches, and you can adjust it to whatever size that you want. I just want this side showing. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do not forget to hit like, comment if you have other requests that you'd like to see on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Goodbye.